Welcome back. In this segment, we'll have a dose of health and sports news. First, Israel's Medical Association, for the first time, has classified obesity as a medical disease. Other international health organizations like the American Medical Association and the World Health Organization already classify obesity as a disease, even an epidemic. To combat it, the World Health Organization has issued new directives to eliminate trans fatty acids over the next 5 years, but the Israeli Minister of Health Nutrition says that most Israeli food companies already have replaced dangerous trans fats with alternatives about 4 years ago. Joining me in studio is Vered Merom. She's a clinical nutritionist and an expert in child obesity. Thanks for being with us. Are you surprised it took so long for Israel to classify obesity as a disease, and how will that help patients? Does it open up new funding or new treatments for them?
First of all, I think the Ministry of Health is doing a lot. Started already to do things to prevent obesity and to treat it. And I think the nutritionists always treat it as a disease. It's just officially now that it's been announced that it's a disease. But in general, we treat it like a disease.
And
your
expertise is in child obesity.
In preventing obesity.
I mean,
yeah.
How big of a problem is this, obviously here in Israel, childhood obesity, and how do you combat that?
We see 1 out of 4 to 5 kids, depends on the age, are suffering from overweight and obesity. And what are being done now is a lot of programs in school. I personally have a Magic Food program with Dr. Limor Ben Yaakov, which is being studied in schools. And this is working fascinating because once the atmosphere in the class is toward health food, it's working very easily with the children. It's easy to convince them to eat healthy if you talk to them with their language.
And obviously the kids love games. That's the language they learn. So tell us a bit about the games that you use it with your...
This is an example of 3 games, letters and slides, which encourage the kids to eat healthy. When you eat fruits or vegetables, you go with the letter up, which in the game, it leads you to win in life. It make your healthy better, and once you get to a snake, it takes your health down. And in the game, you go with a slide a little bit down.
Is it wrong? I mean, for our international viewers, is it wrong to think, well, Israel has a lot of farms and fresh fruit? Kids should have access all the time to fresh fruits, and it shouldn't be a problem.
It seems like this, but I think parents are really taking care of the kids when they are 6, 8, 10 months. And afterwards, once the kid can hold the biscuit in his hands or a snake, they forget about the fruits. And then I think you should start in really early age, and in kindergarten and school, if you work with this, or parents at home, it works amazingly.
And show us the cards real quick. Do you have these made out?
This is a memory game which you learn about food groups, like which are the groups of fruits, vegetables, legumes. But here we call the water magic drink, the magic drink of the world. And instead of having in the candy group chocolate or candy, which is obvious that they are sweets, I have the grains, the morning grains. You call it grains?
Yeah.
Right? And the chocolate drink, and you have soda and all the sweet drinks, which parents don't consider them as sweets. So parents that think that they give their kids 1 sweet a day really give them a whole cup of sugar per day. And this is the real problem.
All right, Vered Merom, clinical nutritionist, expert in preventing childhood obesity. Thank you so much for your analysis and your expertise.